Under layers of snow and ice, Oak Island is committed to keeping its secrets buried during the winter. The representative of Kellyo, another treasure hunter, is Dave Spencer. In order to get more accurate data than they did, Gary Drayton and the father and son team, Bob and Robert Leonard, are traveling to the frozen marsh. The team used the DeepMax X6, a sophisticated metal detector with a larger frame coil and mounted on a sled, last summer with the goal of finding metal objects up to 40 feet underground. The data gathered can be examined in a three-dimensional map, which may show the location of potentially valuable items. Lagena. They were hoping to get large numbers in the swamp near the northern end of the swamp, on land owned by Fred Nolan's family, and the team's commander is persistent and has succeeded in doing so. Lagena recently discovered a sizable wooden stake that was carbon dated to the 1500s and was thought to be proof of survey markers that were used to lay out the limits of a big construction project centuries ago. Fred came to the conclusion that Oak Island was originally two islands that had been intentionally connected by the triangle-shaped marsh. Dan and Fred hauled one up together, chopped off the tip, and sent it to be carbon dated. The team is thrilled with the findings but is careful not to become overly thrilled. They intend to return and run the detector once more to determine their current position. Through metal detecting tools and a methodical approach to excavation, the Oak Island team is committed to uncovering the secrets of the island's past. They hope to uncover gold, silver, and other priceless historical artifacts buried beneath the ice, and their work will remain essential in the continuous hunt for the answers to the Oak Island mystery. While exploring the enigmatic triangle-shaped marsh on Oak Island, Rick and Marty Lagina discover a survey stake that is verified and raises the possibility that it was created by humans. The stake is preserved from the bottom, giving it a sense of age and time. The stack's appearance impresses Marty. In this week's episode of The Money Pit, they have finished the Idian anomaly and are prepared to move on to their next project, even if it isn't as fascinating as the previous two. They still have some items to study. In the northern part of the triangle-shaped swamp, Rick and Marty Lagina, their partner Craig Tester, and their team are investigating a 230-year-old treasure mystery. They have found a new pair of man-made features, a stone pathway, and a small cellar, or vault. The team is intrigued by the tight distribution of sizes, which they believe could be related to Anthony Graves, a farmer who bought most of Oak Island in 1857. As they delve deeper into the swamp, they find a square, vault-like structure submerged in the swamp. Its purpose is unknown, but they hope to learn if it served as a hiding place for Anthony Graves' belongings. They also find a piece of brick attached to the structure, which they believe is some kind of pipe. The team is determined to ascertain the age of this structure and its purpose because they don't know what else is down there. The following morning, Rick Lagina takes Tom Nolan, another Oak Island homeowner, to the enigmatic vault-like building. Rick thinks the construction has a hard bottom and a lot of brick, giving the impression that it might be a hiding place in the northern part of the swamp. Tom is amazed by the neatly cut slate and thinks it is a structure constructed to hold or hide something. Inside the vault-like building, Rick and his colleagues have discovered a handle from a chest that they suspect may be connected to the Spanish silver coins that former landowner Anthony Graves allegedly recovered on Oak Island. This might be a significant clue. The group is committed to solving the riddle and determining how it relates to the Spanish silver coins that were purportedly found on Oak Island. While investigating a swamp on Oak Island, New York, the team came across an unusual construction that has raised a lot of questions. They have a plan in place, but are unsure of how to go about it. One of the items they found is a hook that looks to be made of wrought iron, possibly constructed by Anthony Graves to protect a treasure he found underground. The team is thrilled about this discovery and hopes to learn more the following day. The team, which includes archaeologist Lar Nien and archaeometallist Emma Culligan, is working on a project that entails finding 3 items in the swamp. The first item is a wood grain-like structure on the handle that is believed to be a crank. The team is now examining a feature and artifacts that predate Anthony Graves' occupation of the property. The second item is a pipe with a slight manganese content that dates more to the early to mid-1800s. They are interested in finding out if they have found a treasure vault in the swamp where former Oak Island landowner Anthony Graves is said to have found Spanish silver coins more than 150 years ago. If so, who made it and what else might be buried deeper within it? The team thinks that because Anthony Graves paid for his goods, cast iron stove door with the starburst design similar to the button found in 2023 in the stone feature on Lot 5 Gary wonders if these items are connected because the stove door's starburst shape might have been a common stove design in the past. According to Emma, cast iron stoves can be traced back to the middle of the 18th century, but their manganese content places them closer to the middle of the 19th century. To come closer to unraveling the mystery of Oak Island, the team must learn the stove's design. They are enthusiastic about the relic's potential. The Oak Island team is committed to working with archaeologists to solve the riddle of the enigmatic objects, despite the difficulties they encounter when excavating further into the hole. Larnian and Emma Culligan want to figure out how the stove door was made and how it relates to the medieval button discovered in 20123. The plot centers on a group of researchers at Smith's Cove who are looking for the fabled flood tunnel, thought to have fed seawater into the original money pit. The team is led by Craig Tester and Rick Lagina, and they are in the area where the restalls placed wooden forms down the hole, but their forms blew out and they lost the hole. They are discovering metal and wood detectors that they think may be evidence of the shaft's construction, as well as a modern nail that they think is the restall shaft. This modern nail may provide a crucial hint that the team is getting close to discovering the wooden frame or forms constructed by the Restall family in 1961 when they poured concrete into the vertical shaft. As they continue their excavation in Smith's Cove, they discover remnants of the Restall's operations, like a broken spike and a rounded beveled point. If they are able to confirm the location of the vertical shaft, they should be able to locate the flood tunnel itself, which is a direct connection to the treasure. The next 5 to 10 feet will provide more details regarding the location of the money pit in Smith's Cove. The team is committed to digging and finding clues to the money pit location. The record was reached by episodes like Eureka Payday and King Knopf Klondike. Parker always found a lot of gold, going above and beyond what fans expected and what he had found before. It was impossible to hold back their happiness as the team enjoyed the results of their hard work and persistence. One thing that makes the Eureka Creek bounty unique is that it was a turning point. Parker's constant success in finding gold in the area made him a leader in the tough world of gold mining. Because he kept having success, he was able to move his business to other places and buy better technology, and he hoped that it would bring him at least 1,000 ounces this season. The pay dirt was 30 feet below, and the team had to dig out 1,000 yards of extra material to get to it. 4 feet more, and they would be below water. After that, it would be 30 feet before they hit rocks. But things weren't really fine as they seemed at first. The process was going on right next to a pond, and water would be the first thing that would go wrong if something went wrong. Frozen mud was the best option because it kept the water out. Recruit John Baudry was told to deal with the mud and keep the water out, but it looked like the cut was pretty wet, so they had to call their boss. If not, things will go badly if they do. It turned out that the mud got worse and spread faster as they opened up more areas. They still hadn't even cut out a fifth of the area. The Wolf Cut is next to a pond that is pretty old. There was only a small berm between them, not strong enough to stand up to the water pressure if it was messed with. They dug down and found frozen ice that stopped the water from getting in. The permafrost was broken, which now lets pond water seep through the wall and flood the cut. The area will soon have a lot of water if they let it keep going. There was a need for action to save the day. They thought getting a pump would be the best thing for them to do. To fight the water, Parker planned to dig a sunk pond in the cut that was as deep as it could go and put in an 8-inch pump to drain it. He was not going to lose another water fight. After setting it up, they had to wait until the next day. Their plan as a whole was good and seemed like it would work, but how do they choose a pump to drain water that big from a pond without first making sure it works and fixing any problems it might have? The next day, everyone on the team walked outside to see their perfectly dry and ready-to-med wolf cut, but they were about to get a bad surprise. They couldn't find their pump anywhere. It looked like the pump was gone, and instead of a cutting that was completely dry, they found a lake. The pump had terrible problems filling the cut and putting the pump 4 feet below the water. $500,000 were about to slip through their hands. The pump was so deep that they couldn't even walk up to it. Tyson had to pull a small kayak out with a chain in the excavator to get the pump to dry ground where they could work on it. Mark Force, the foreman, said that the debris was blocking the suction filter at the end of the hose, which caused the water level to rise and cover the whole pump. To make sure that more flooding wouldn't hurt the pump, he had to take the engine apart and repair it. Parker has shown that he is not easily upset by losses. In fact, he's had a lot of them. In spite of everything, he did something that shocked both miners and fans, putting an end to a season with 14 million in gold. Parker Schnabel and his team were starting a season that might change everything's great again. No one expected the first cut to be so bad, and it took a lot longer than anyone thought it would. As soon as Parker realized how important it was, the pressure rose. He thought Tyson would be able to get up soon. The determination of Parker stayed strong, even though the work to prepare the new spot was hard. He went on to say that while he was getting El Dardo ready, he thought he had a lot of time. But when he was getting the next plant pad ready, he realized he didn't. As Parker dealt with the problems at El Dorado, everyone was left wondering if his unwavering determination would help him get through the tough times and find the gold stores that could make his mining project a success. Parker and Tyson were both involved in the El Dorado. Moving the wash plant at the El Dorado cut was a huge task that turned some important events in Tyson's life. They had everything they needed except time, because the process had to be done by a certain date. The due date for this job was Sunday, and if it was completed successfully, it would be able to stay alive. The plot jumbled up money problems, practical issues, and the almost constant search for the jackpot at Dominion into a mess of problems that needed to be carefully handled. The financial situation added another level of difficulty to the story. The operation, which was already a financial puzzle, was done with the worry of possible bills and the costs of running the business. As I watch them, I can't help but wonder, will this smart move help them find the gold mines they were looking for? Or will it be a big mistake on the crazy road of gold mining? At some point in this nail-biting story, you couldn't help but wonder, would Parker Schnabel's huge risk pay off? Or would his growing financial responsibilities and practical problems make it impossible for him to reach his goal of finding a gold mine? Dominion is a world where gold rules and fortunes can change in an instant. Parker Schnabel found himself in a very bad spot. Now is the time for the dream of the unreachable gold to change. Along with it came hard times financially, so the business could stay open. The heat had almost made this area its home. It makes me wonder what it's like to be ruled over. The answer is as easy at the same time. Everything that was done in the world of gold mining had the power to change the whole course of the season. Even Sluicefer's seemingly random jump. The 45-ton wash plant, Sluicefer, that held the promise of $364,000 in gold hung over their heads. Tyson and his team had to carefully move Sluicefer so that the process would go as planned. To get to its new wash plant pad, Sluicefer had to go up a steep ramp, which was hard to do because of the environment. Tyson used the 750 excavator, which was the best one on site at the time, to help carry the heavy Lucifer up the hill because he knew it was a period piece. As the story goes on, there is an amazing scene of bravery as they try to get around their opponent. But behind it all is the dangerous operation. The shot was tense because of the way the land was angled and how rude the Washington plant was. The wash plant started to slowly but surely rise because Tyson knew how to use everything he had at the time in a strategic way. From the first few steps toward the wash plant, you could feel the stress in the story, and Tyson's main point made the already difficult task even harder. He said that his bucket would be used as a small wrench. He talked about how you need to be able to adapt and be creative when you run into problems you didn't expect. At this point, everyone is almost in pain from the fight and can feel the strain of the hard mental and physical work that needs to be done to get the Sluicefer where it needs to be. Tyson's smart use of the bucket as a makeshift crowbar showed how important it was to be able to think quickly and change to survive in the unpredictable world of gold mining. So the operation as a whole relied on the team, and how well they did in this last stage was crucial to achieving the overall goal of a successful season in the Dominion. If this last step is completed successfully, not only will the difficult task be over, but Parker Schnabel will also have the chance to reach his big season goal. The team's ability to deal with the difficulty of this important configuration determined whether the whole operation succeeded or failed.